Hello witches, wizards and those who are yet to receive their Hogwarts school letters, welcome to my Harry Potter kitchen. This is the YouTube series where I'm baking my way through the Harry Potter books, making recipes for all the food and drink that we find inside. If you missed last week's recipe where we made a butterbeer porridge bowl, then make sure you check out the link down below in the description to catch up. And if you want to see more from my Harry Potter kitchen, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell and you'll get an alert every Magic Monday when there is a brand new recipe. Speaking of which, I'm in need of some more magical treats. So let's head back into the chamber. Right, so it's time to jump back into chapter 4 at Flourish and Blot and join the Weasleys as they are finishing up their breakfast. So Ginny has just gone to retrieve her bowl of porridge from last week, and then the letters have arrived and Dumbledore already knows that Harry is there. They then are reading through all the books that they need for year 2. Fred has made a little comment about Gilderoy Lockhart, and I can see our next recipe. At this point, Fred caught his mother's eye and quickly busied himself with the marmalade. Looks like it's time to sweeten up our breakfast. If you'd like to recreate these Hogwarts House inspired marmalades, then all the ingredients you need and the instructions will be on my website, bradleybakes.co.uk. The link is down below in the description. Marmalade is a bitter preserve traditionally made with Seville oranges, and we recreated a recipe for it last year in the Philosopher's Stone. So if you haven't seen that yet, check out the link down below. This year I wanted to try something a little bit different and create 4 versions of marmalade inspired by our Hogwarts houses, and I'm going to show you 2 different methods for that. The first, similar to our oranges, is going to be with a fruit that has a skin or rind. Now this is going to give it its very bitter taste, but obviously nobody wants to bite into that rind. So first, we're going to have to cook them in some water, but we're going to save all of those juices as we're going to put them back into the marmalade to give it its signature flavour. For our Hufflepuff lemon marmalade and our Slytherin lime marmalade, we're going to use the same process. Each of the fruits needs to go into a separate pan with a litre of water and then bring that to the boil. Cover it and allow to cook until the rind has softened. This can take between 45 minutes to an hour. While our lemons and limes are softening up, we're going to move on to a very important step, which is sterilising our jars. Now, if you don't sterilise your jars, it means there might be some bacteria left in there, so when you add your jam, it's going to spoil and won't last as long. But it's a very, very simple step to sterilise them, and then you can get back to your cooking. All we're going to do is add some hot water into these jars, swirl them around, turn them upside down, and then let them dry in the oven, so we don't have to use any paper towels or kitchen towels to dry them. Fill your jars with boiling water. Leave for 30 seconds to a minute and then tip out. Working as quickly as possible, turn them upside down onto a tray and place in the oven to dry. Make sure they're completely cooled before handling. Once the fruit is cooked, remove from the pan, but keep the liquid as we'll use this for the marmalade later. Place a piece of muslin into a bowl and then cut the lemons in half. Scrape out the pulp into the muslin cloth and then squeeze to remove any more juice. Tie the muslin cloth together and give it a good squeeze. Place the liquid and the muslin cloth back onto the stove and then bring it to the boil. Allow this to infuse for about 5 minutes. As we don't want this marmalade to be too bitter, we're going to remove the pulp before we add in the rind. Once your lemon skins have cooled down, you can thinly slice them up to create your rind. Add your sugar, liquid and your rind into a pan and bring up to the boil. Allow this to continue rapid boiling for about 15 minutes. To make sure you get a lovely clear marmalade, you want to remove any scum that bubbles up to the top. Once you've reached the setting point, which is around 110 degrees Celsius, you can remove from the heat and pour into a heat-proof jug. Allow to cool for a few minutes and then place into your sterilised jars. Seal as quickly as possible and allow to cool. The process for the limes is pretty much the same. Cut the limes in half and then spread the pulp into some muslin cloth. Once the skins are cool, you can also slice them thinly. As limes have a slightly more subtle taste than the lemons, we're going to leave the muslin cloth as we jam this one. Place the sugar, liquid, muslin cloth and the rinds into a pan and then bring to the boil. Again, you want to leave this for about 15 minutes until it reaches setting point. To make sure you get a lovely clear marmalade, you want to remove any scum that bubbles up to the top. Take a spoon, scrape it off carefully, and then place it to one side. Pour it into your jug, jar it, and then let it cool. So now that our Hufflepuff lemon and Slytherin lime marmalades are setting, we can move on to our Ravenclaw, Beetroot, and our Gryffindor Pomegranate. And for these two, we're going to use a slightly different method because they don't have that hard rind that lemon, limes, and oranges have. We don't need to do that first process where we cook them and soften them up. We're going to move straight to the second step where we infuse our water and then make our marmalade, but we also need to use a different type of jam. So for this, I'm using jam sugar. When you're working with oranges, limes, and lemons, they have a lot of pectin, which is a naturally occurring thickening agent. So as that cooks off, it will thicken your marmalade itself. But beetroot and pomegranate don't naturally have high pectin, so this jam sugar has pectin added in, which means that it will still get that lovely marmalade scent. We're going to kick things off with our Beetroot Ravenclaw marmalade. Now, if you want to infuse even more beetroot flavour in, you can place your beetroot into some muslin cloth, and I've also added in a lemon for an extra bitterness, and use this to infuse the water before we make our marmalade. Add it in and let it simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes. Strain off the water and remove the beetroot from the muslin cloth, and then slice this thinly to go into our marmalade. With your pan back on a medium heat, add in your sugar, your liquid, and your beetroot, and then stir until dissolved. Bring this up to a rapid boil again, and we want to leave this for about 15 minutes until it starts to thicken. If you notice any scum forming on the top, be sure to scrape this off so we get a nice clear marmalade. Once it's reached that setting point, you can remove it from the heat and transfer it into a heat-proof jug. Pour this into your sterilised jar and seal. For the Gryffindor pomegranate marmalade, you'll first need to remove all of the seeds. So cut your pomegranate in half, turn them upside down, and then use a rolling pin to tap the top. As you hit, each seed will fall out nice and easily. Again, if you want to get more of that pomegranate flavour into your marmalade, we're going to place the seeds into some muslin cloth along with a lemon, and then infuse our water for about 5 to 10 minutes. Strain off the water and then pop your pot back onto the hob, add in your sugar, your flavoured water, and some more pomegranate seeds, and then bring up to the boil. Again, we need to let this bubble away for about 15 minutes until it reaches our setting point, and then you know the score by now. Remove it from the heat, place into a jug, pop that into your jar, seal, and place it into a cool, dry place to set. So there you have it. Our Hogwarts House inspired marmalades are complete and they look pretty cool. So let me know down below in the comments, which one of these would you most like to try? Will it be Hufflepuff's lemon marmalade, the Slytherin lime marmalade, Ravenclaw's beetroot marmalade, or Gryffindor's pomegranate marmalade? I am a Gryffindor at heart, so that is where my allegiances are going to lie today. But I'm going to place these all in the fridge and they'll last about 3 to 4 weeks as I work my way through and have myself a little marmalade pick and mix. If you like this week's recipe and you want to see more from my Harry Potter kitchen, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell, and you'll get an alert every Magic Monday when there's a brand new recipe. I'm off to enjoy the rest of my breakfast, and I'll see you next week. Looks like the Philosopher's Stone. Tastes like it's on fire too.